Okay, for today's creator workshop, I thought we would do something that involves a little bit more editing. Normally I try to pick ideas and pick templates and things that mean we're not really doing a lot of editing, because that's the bit that takes the time. But for this specific example, it is all about editing. So I'm going to show you an example one that I did this morning. I don't know whether anyone would have had a chance to see it yet, or when I've posted it in the group. But it involves a skill called stop motion. And I used to make loads of these before video was such a thing on social media. So this is one that I have literally just put together this morning. It's only 6 seconds, but it involves 30 images. So these are 30 photos that I took this morning, and I have put them together into a stop motion video that is 6 seconds long. Okay, so the idea behind this is that you take a large number of photos, and you put them together so quickly that they make a video, they make an animation. These are the kind of like, if you watch like Wallace and Gromit and those kinds of, like, you know what I mean, right? They're little things that each image, something changes a tiny bit before the next image. So I've taken 30 here. And in between each one, I've just rotated my little Christmas cup round and put a little tea bag in it. So it just makes a very, very short little clip from the photos. So what I would like us to do, I mean, I'll show you how I set it up, and I'll show you how the settings that you need to put on your phone. But I'd love everyone to have a little go. Even if you don't physically have a product, if you don't have, you're not a product business, you will have an item that you can use as an example for this one, just so you can have a little practice and sort of learn the skill of doing it. And then you might be able to use it for something else if this is your first time doing it. So let me just play it for you one more time. So as you can see, nothing else in the frame changes, nothing else, like the camera doesn't move, nothing else is moving. All that moves is the item, and all I'm doing is spinning it round. So the handle's on one side, it's doing a 180, and then just to mix it up a little bit, I've just done the tea bag thing at the end. Spinning, I think, is the simplest movement. So if you set everything up, so if you set the camera up, you have an item in the shot, and all you do is spin it round, okay? So we're going to take between 20 and 30 images, and between each picture, you're just going to turn it a little bit, turn it round, okay? And then I'm going to show you how you can, come out of that, I'm going to show you how you can put all those images together in an app called CapCut. You can do it on Instagram, but I think it's a little bit more fiddly on Instagram. I like using CapCut to kind of shrink all the images down and put them together so that they make the video. So if you haven't got CapCut, maybe that's something you can come back to. If you have got CapCut on your phone, great. I'll be able to show you how to use that. And then we can input all the images and put them together into a video. So if I show you how you could potentially set this up, if you don't have like a phone, if you don't have like a phone holder or anything like that, you can just use a coffee cup, because I have all sorts of different ones, but half the time I just prop it up against something because it's just quicker. So if you have like a coffee cup like this, the handle actually makes a really good prop for your phone. So I wonder if I can show you how I do it here. So say this is the cup that I want to film. I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to open up my camera on my phone and just rest it against the handle. So if you don't have any kind of fancy phone holders or anything like that, honestly, that is like a little hack for you. So I'm just going to position it so you can see the table a little bit. You can maybe see some things in the background. And the whole point of this is that the camera does not move. Okay, it's really important that the camera does not move and nothing else in the shot moves, only your item, whatever item you want, that's the only thing that's going to move in the shot. Okay, so it's important that you set up your phone, your camera, in a position and then you don't touch it. Okay, if you can also get your settings on your camera to full screen, so you want the 16:9 option on your camera so that it's full screen, then it will take the image ready for it to be created into a reel. If you take little square images, you're going to find that when you add it to reel, it's going to all be stretched and bits cut out. So if you can change your camera setting, it'll be one of your little options down the bottom. Mine tends to be default 4:3, but I've just changed it to 16:9, and then you get the full length. And then you might want to move your item so that it's in shot a little bit better. So if I started like that, I've got a bit of table somewhere in the middle, aim for the middle of the screen. You've got maybe a table, maybe something in the background. I probably wouldn't have a window or a big light source in the background, but this is only so I can show you. And then once you're happy, once the camera's in the right position and it's set up, you want to try and not touch the camera or like knock it or anything like that. You're only moving the item, okay? And this is where you're going to take a picture, move it a tiny bit, take a picture, move it a tiny bit. We'll get aim between 20 and 30 images. So it's literally, and then turn it a tiny bit, another one. If you were going to do this, lots, you would have a little camera remote. So you're not even touching the phone to take the picture. But the more that you do, the longer the video. So obviously we're going to piece all these together so it moves quite quickly. So I'm just going to stop there, but you get the idea. Take a picture, move it a tiny bit, take a picture, move it a tiny bit. If you want to have a little go at doing that in front of you now, then you can do. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give everyone 5 minutes and then I'll show you how to put those images together into CapCut to actually make the video, okay? So if you're not quite sure about this, just pick something to have a practice so you can play around with it and have a little go. You okay, Jess?
Hi, just a question. So I've managed to do my pictures, to show it on the screen, and I've got it on CapCut running, but it's quite slow.
Yep.
So how do I speed that up now?
That is just what I was about to show everybody.
Yeah, I'll wait for you then.
So yeah, if like Jess, if you've managed to do your images, you want to open up CapCut. If you don't have CapCut, don't worry, I'll show you how to do it on Instagram if you want. I just find it's a little bit fiddlier on Instagram. So open a new project in CapCut, and then you want to upload all those photos you've taken, ideally in the right order, like the order that you've taken them. Yeah, so find the first one that you did, and then if you click it, you'll have a little blue circle on the top so that you can see, right, that's the first one. Then you can click the next one, so that you want to do them in the order that you've taken them. I've only got 8, but you'd want at least 20, I reckon, because we're going to speed it up a bit. So when you've selected all of those, click add, and it will add it all into the timeline along the bottom here. Okay, and just like Jess said, it's quite slow because by default it gives each picture 3 seconds. Now, we don't want each picture to be on for 3 seconds. We actually want each picture to be on for 0.2 seconds. We want it to be like the tiniest little slither, because the whole point is that we want it to move so quick that it kind of starts to look like video. It has movement to it. So on Instagram, they would have templates to help you to do this. And there is likely going to be some templates out there. But what we're going to have to do here is manually change it. So you're going to need to drag in the end of the box. I would go from the right-hand side here, drag in the end of the box, and it will show you on the clip. I mean, you might not be able to see it. Let me see if I can make myself bigger. You might not be able to see it on my screen. If you drag it in, just at the very top of the clip, it will tell you how long that clip is. So at the moment, mine says 1.2. So I need to drag that box smaller. If it's so teeny tiny that you can't even get your finger on it, what you can do is zoom into the timeline. So if you do like a little out kind of pinch, not a pinch in, but like a pinch out, you can kind of zoom into the timeline and it's a little bit easier to do. But we want to get each box on 0.2 seconds. It's going to be teeny tiny like that. Okay. And so we're going to need to do that for every single image. This is the time-consuming bit of the editing that takes a little while. So you click on each box and you want to shrink it down to 0.2 seconds.
Can't even see. This is the first time I've used it. Can't even see the numbers. They're so tiny.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you
try.
It's just stretching it.
And you can't do it globally.
The only way that I know that you can do it kind of by selecting all of them is if you're on the desktop. So we would need to then transfer these images onto the computer, which is a step in itself. So
I think I've just discovered, because I was fiddling with it, and I think there's like it being set to 3 seconds as their kind of, there's a stop point for it, because I noticed when I was doing it, I couldn't go any further. It was like literally stopping it.
Yeah.
And I think that was less than 0.2, but actually I played it and it was still a reasonable speed. It wasn't like it was so quick you couldn't see it.
Okay, so what have you got yours set to then?
I think, sorry, let me just tell you what it was set to. I'm trying to see.
Looks like it's 0.1 where it stops.
I'm trying to see if I can even zoom into it. Yeah, 0.1, but that might be too. That might think that's too small.
The quicker it is, the smoother the video will look. And
yeah, so it's 0. If you just drag it all the way across, it sort of stops at 0.1.
Okay.
Well, I found it did anyway, but that could just be.
Try it.
Yeah, it does stop at 0.1.
Okay, so you could do them all to 0.1 if you found it was easier.
Yeah, that's easier, isn't it? Because then you don't have to try and see that tiny little number.
I
But
don't know
actually,
how to do it. Mine has
as you
finished.
suggested, Lorna, I've zoomed in on it and I can see it says 0.1. So you could
Okay,
then.
if it's easier, do them all at 0.1. It just means that the clip will be much shorter and it will look quicker, but it will look smoother.
But as you see, by zooming in anyway, I mean, I could increase all of those to 0.2 now because I can actually see the type.
Yeah, I zoomed in. I don't know how I zoomed in. It wasn't working, but then it just has. Don't know what I'm doing. This is great.
This is how I end up breaking my website, because I just click on things. And I'm like, I
Wait,
don't know
what does that do?
But it's also how I figure things out. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I could do that. Okay, so I've set all mine to 0.2. I've only got 8 images, but you can sort of see that there's some tiny bit of movement there. I would obviously do it a lot more, but yeah, you get the gist of it. So some of those, I've seen Christmas adverts and things that use stop motion. They will use hundreds of images, hundreds and hundreds of images, and then put them all together, and it looks, much more complicated. But something simple like an item, one of your products or an item just doing a little spin, we can use that as a reel, and the kind of why I'm using this as an example is that's going to help to grab a little bit of attention, like having that kind of animation and that kind of video will stand out a little bit or grab a bit of attention. And what you can probably pair this with is something that is maybe something that's quite like informational or quite boring, like the last date to order, or the dates when you're not going to be available over Christmas, or the last date that you're going to be working, something that's quite sort of, it's just a piece of information that you want to share with people, but it's not anything groundbreaking. If you pair it with something a little bit fun like this, then it kind of balances out so that people can still see it. So I was going to pair this with the dates that I'm away over Christmas. You might want to do something similar, or if you might just want to use it as a way to kind of share like a happy Christmas message or happy New Year message, if you didn't have anything like any dates or anything that you wanted to share.
Lauren, I was just thinking, actually, I could use this.
Well,
because actually, even not just specifically for Christmas, but I was just thinking, actually, I could do it for like packing and things like that.
Yeah.
I need to have a bit of a brainstorming session about how I might be able to use it, I think.
Yes.
So,
like packing. Go on.
Yeah, Paula.
I follow a lady
sorry,
on
Donny.
Insta
Yeah.
called Love Social,
Right.
and it's what I use for my inspiration for things like this, because
Oh, you've gone.
am I back?
Yes, you're back.
No.
She's gone again.
It keeps muting me. My systems. Yeah, Love Day Social on Insta. She does all this kind of thing, and she does a lot of showing how it all works and doing boxes and products and that kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
and what's she called, Donna?
I'll put it in the chat.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, Donna. I've just been looking at her stuff this morning to help with this, because she does a lot of stop motion tutorials and things. So yeah, it's worth a look if you want to like try this a little bit more. Yeah, there's loads of ways to do it. I feel like Paula, you could have a lot of fun with lots of the things set up all the kitchen utensils and pots and pans and things moving around on the
Yeah.
worktop. Like
I'm currently thinking, because I've done an advert for people to just pop in and have a coffee and a mince pie and collect a couple of brochures. So I'm going to have to eat a mince pie and a coffee today to do this, aren't I?
What a shame.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Imagine.
And if it doesn't work the first time, you have to get another one.
I know. So once you've done it, I've done mine as an experiment. I've never used what we're using, CapCut or CapCut before. What do I do now?
So by default, it will add a little CapCut kind of screen at the end. Can you see that on yours, Paula? If you click that, you can just delete that. Yeah, you can just delete that.
Edit.
Because we don't really want the CapCut name popping up at the end of our reel.
Oh, okay.
I didn't delete it. I've downloaded it though. But I can crop my video, can't I? If not.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I've somehow saved it without really knowing I've done it, so that's good.
Okay, and then
No, I haven't got that. Oh, I have got CapCut. Oh well, never mind.
You might have deleted it and not realised. It's fine. And then this arrow in the top right hand corner, you just click that to save it to your device. So it exports it from CapCut onto your phone.
I haven't deleted the CapCut, so how do I do that again? Sorry.
So if you scroll to the end, it will be the last clip.
Yeah.
Click on that clip and then click delete.
Oh, smart. Good. Okay, thank you.
I've done it too. Thank you.
And then, if you go to your camera roll where all your videos and your photos are, you will see it there. Then you can, and then because you've shot it full screen, you won't need to do any kind of cropping or anything. You can just upload that as one clip onto Reels, add some music, Christmassy music if you've done a Christmas one, any text over the top if you wanted to, but because they're quite short clips, you don't need to add too much to it. The whole point is that, you can see the movement in the video. Now
there you go, Lorna.
Camera roll full of coffee cup pictures.
I'm really pleased. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there we go. See, doesn't it look really cool?
Just like that.
Yeah,
I need to learn. I need to learn to get my finger out of the shot, but I've done this one.
Oh, amazing.
Hey.
I'll show you mine. It's irrelevant. I'm just practicing, but oh, hang on.
Oh, I like it. Very
That's good. I like that.
I don't know what contents, but
Sorry, Paula, I missed it. Can you show it
oh,
again?
okay, I can play it again.
I can see this being used so many ways. Like if you were doing like flower arrangements,
Really
you
good.
put it into a vase. That's a very similar movement.
They're all really good.
Doing any kind of cooking or like serving up food onto a plate, you could do that. There's so many ways you could do it.
Actually,
I'm going to
Laura,
use it to make
reminds
words.
me- It reminds me, I did actually do one similar for how to book, kind of like almost like a before and after.
Yeah.
I think where I used my diary to kind of like, almost like say, my diary was full, and then actually having spoken to me, my diary was clear.
Oh yeah. I do remember that one.
Yeah, I did. That wasn't very professional looking. This is far better.
Well, yeah, now that you know how to do it, it's just a case of setting it up, not moving the camera. You can't move the camera, move everything else, but keep the camera still. And just the more photos that you take, the longer the clip can be. But you want it to be super, super short so that, the movement is smooth. If I find a way to kind of speed up that editing bit of like selecting all and then changing them all to a certain thing, there's probably a thing out there. I just haven't found it yet. I'll share it with you because I used to make lots of these and there's bound to be some things now that will speed that part up. So you can take a load of images and then it just whacks it in the video for you. And we can have a bit more of a play around with it, because yeah, I think they look kind of cool. It's giving me more ideas of things you can put together and move, and it just looks cool.
Sorry, Lorna, is there a way that you can actually link your CapCut app to your desktop? You know,
there would be if they were logged in with the same details.
okay, I'll have to have a play with that and see, because I think I tried to do it before and I couldn't make it. It wasn't pulling them through.
Yeah, I don't think mine does, because I think I'm logged in under two different
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
phone one and the desktop one. But in theory, if you logged in the same, you could sync the
Be
two.
able to do it, shouldn't you?
Desktop, that might be easier. But yeah, have a
Because I
look.
sometimes do that with Canva, you know, I'll start something on my phone and then I'll go onto desktop and then fiddle with it on desktop, just find it easier having a bigger screen.
Yeah. Canva syncs quite
See?
well, I find, between the phone and the desktop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do that too. Cool. Right, I will leave you there then, guys. If I find anything else that will be helpful for this kind of stop motion animation stuff, I'll share it in the group. But otherwise, have a little play around with it and see what ones you can make this week. Some Christmassy ones would be nice if you can. Awesome.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Lorna. Good to see you all.
Bye, and I'll see you in the new year if you're not here tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.